she confronted a human warrior and witnessed why Earth is feared. Part 1: The Challenge. The galactic arena floated in the darkness of space like a massive metal flower. Station 9 was famous across 1,000 worlds. It was the place where species settled their disputes without destroying entire planets. Here, champions fought. Winners took everything. Losers went home with nothing. Today, the arena was full. Creatures of all shapes and sizes filled the seats. Some had scales, some had fur, some had no bodies at all and floated like clouds of light. They had all come to watch the same thing, a fight between the Empire and the humans of Earth. Stood in her private chamber looking at herself in the mirror. She was tall, almost 8 feet, with 4 strong arms and skin that looked like blue crystal. When light hit her body, she sparkled like a living gem. She was beautiful and deadly, the perfect warrior. She had won 47 fights in this arena. 47 enemies had fallen before her plasma blades. She had never lost. She had never even come close to losing. The people called her the Unbreakable, and they were right. No one could break her. Today would be her 48th victory. She was sure of it. A soft knock came at her door. Entered a young female with lighter blue skin. She was student and helper. She carried ceremonial armor in her 4 arms. "The humans have sent their champion," said. Her voice was quiet, almost nervous. "Good," said. She did not turn from the mirror. "What do we know about this human?" "His name is Sung. He is a soldier from something called the Earth Defense Corps. He was chosen by lottery." Laughed. The sound was like glass bells ringing. Lottery, they picked their champion by random chance. "Yes, my lady. It seems they did not have many volunteers." "Of course they did not. Humans are not warriors. They are soft little things that only recently learned to travel between stars. They have no claws, no armor, no natural weapons of any kind." Finally turned around. "This fight is a joke. The Galactic Council wastes my time." Helped her put on the armor. It was made of hardened crystal, grown from his own body over many years. It fit her perfectly and made her even more dangerous. With this armor, she had crushed enemies twice her size. "I have seen images of the human," said carefully. "He is small." "How small?" "Perhaps 5 feet and 10 inches, 2 arms, soft skin, no protective features." Smiled. It was not a kind smile. "Then I will try not to kill him too quickly. The crowd paid good money to watch this fight. I should give them a show." She picked up her plasma blades, 4 of them, 1 for each hand. They hummed with deadly energy. One touch from these blades could cut through metal like paper. Against soft human flesh, they would be devastating. "Come," said, "let us meet this human champion." The arena floor was a circle of white stone, surrounded by thousands of screaming spectators. Walked out from the east gate and the crowd exploded with cheers. They loved her. They had watched her win again and again. She was their favorite. From the west gate the human emerged. Stopped walking. For a moment she just stared. He was even smaller than she expected. His skin was a light tan color, soft and easily broken. He had black hair cut very short and dark eyes that showed no emotion. He wore simple gray armor that looked cheap compared to hers. In his hands he carried only a single blade, not even a plasma weapon, just simple metal. The crowd went quiet. Then slowly, laughter began. First from one section, then another, until the whole arena was laughing at the small human standing alone on the white stone. Walked toward him, her crystal skin catching the lights and throwing rainbows across the arena floor. She stopped 10 feet away and looked down at him. "You are the human champion?" she asked. "I am," he said. His voice was calm, flat, like he was discussing the weather. "Do you have a name, little creature?" "Sung." "Sung," she repeated, tasting the strange word. "I have won 47 battles in this arena. I have killed warriors twice your size with my bare hands. Do you understand what you are facing?" He looked up at her, His dark eyes met her crystal ones. "I understand." "Then you understand you will die." "Maybe," he said, "maybe not." Laughed again. She could not help it. This tiny human with his soft skin and his simple blade actually thought he had a chance. It was the funniest thing she had heard in years. "Human," she said, "your species has claimed 3 colony worlds that belong to the Empire. We have decided to take them back. The Galactic Council, in their wisdom, has declared that this matter will be settled by combat. 1 champion from each side. The winner takes the worlds." She leaned closer to him. "Do you truly wish to die for 3 small planets?" "Those planets have families on them," Sung said. "Children, old people, farmers who just want to grow food and live in peace. They are my people. They will be our slaves when I kill you." Sung's expression did not change. "Then I will have to make sure you do not kill me." In the high seats above the arena, Director Park watched silently. She was the Earth ambassador to the Galactic Council, a woman in her 60s with gray hair and sharp eyes. The aliens around her whispered and pointed at the human champion below. "Your species has sent a sacrifice," said the ambassador next to her, a fat creature with green skin and 6 eyes. "Is Earth surrendering?" Director Park smiled slightly. "We are not surrendering." "Then you are fools. That warrior has never lost. She has killed gladiators. She has defeated berserkers. What chance does one small human have?" "I suppose we will find out." Down on the arena floor, the arena master, a floating robot covered in gold metal, announced the terms of the fight. It would begin at dawn, station time, approximately 12 hours away. Both champions would rest and prepare. The fight would continue until one champion surrendered or died. There were no other rules. Gave Sung one final look of contempt. "Rest well, human. Tomorrow I will try to make your death quick. Consider it a mercy." Sung simply bowed, a small, polite bow that somehow did not seem afraid at all. Turned and walked away, already thinking about how she would celebrate her victory. Sung watched her go, then he turned and walked back through the west gate. In the stands, millions of aliens shook their heads. The poor human. He did not stand a chance. Some of them almost felt sorry for him. Almost. That night ate a feast in her chambers. She drank expensive wine and laughed with her servants. Tomorrow would be easy. Tomorrow would be glorious. Across the station, in a small room with gray walls and a simple bed, Sung sat alone. He ate a bowl of rice and some vegetables. Nothing special, just fuel for his body. On his small table showed a picture. A woman with kind eyes and a warm smile. 2 children, a boy and a girl, making funny faces at the camera. Sung looked at the picture for a long time. Then he put it down, lay on his bed and closed his eyes. He did not look worried at all. She confronted a human warrior and witnessed why Earth is feared. Part 2: The Whispers of Earth. The station never truly slept. Lights dimmed in some sections and brightened in others, following the schedules of 100 different species. But there was always noise, always movement, always someone awake in the endless metal corridors. Could not sleep. She lay in her small room near chambers, staring at the ceiling. Her mentor was confident. Too confident, perhaps, had watched fight many times. She had seen her destroy warriors that seemed unbeatable, but something about the human bothered her. His eyes, that was it. His eyes had not shown fear. Every other champion who faced showed fear. They might hide it behind anger or pride, but it was always there. A small flicker in their eyes that said they knew they might die. The human had shown nothing. His eyes were empty, calm, like still water. Got out of bed and wrapped a robe around her crystalline body. She needed answers. She needed to understand who this human really was. The station's archive was a massive library that held information about every known species in the galaxy. Walked through empty corridors until she reached its doors. They slid open with a soft hiss, and she stepped inside. The archive was circular, with floating screens arranged in endless rows. Approached an empty terminal and touched the surface. "Search for information on humans," she said quietly. "Species origin, planet Earth." The screen filled with data. Population, 8 billion. Home planet, third from their sun. Average, approximately 80 years. Space-faring capability, recent, approximately 200 years. Read the basic information without much interest. Then she found the military records. Her crystal skin grew pale. "Show me more," she whispered. The screen displayed a report from the archive. It described a human colony on a planet called New Sol. 15 years ago, the colony had been invaded by the Horde, a species of insect warriors known for their brutal conquests. The colony had only 3,000 humans. The sent 50,000 soldiers. The humans should have surrendered. Any reasonable species would have surrendered. Instead, they fought. For 3 years. They fought in the streets. They fought in the buildings. When they ran out of weapons, they fought with farming tools. When they ran out of food, they ate whatever they could find and kept fighting. By the end, only 400 humans were still alive, but they had lost 42,000 soldiers. They retreated. They never attacked a human colony again. Scrolled to the next report. Her hands were shaking now. This one described a human ship called the Hammer of Dawn. It was a small vessel, barely armed, used mainly for carrying supplies. During a battle in the Orion sector, it was surrounded by enemy warships. The captain had a choice: surrender and become prisoners or die fighting. The captain chose a third option. He aimed his ship at the largest enemy vessel, a dreadnought 10 times his size, and flew straight into it at maximum speed. The explosion destroyed the dreadnought and 4 ships around it. The captain's last words were recorded by his ship's computer. He had said, "Tell my wife I love her, and tell these bastards they picked the wrong species." Closed her eyes. Her hearts were beating fast. She had 2 hearts like all, and both of them were pounding against her chest. She opened another report. This one made her feel sick. A human soldier named had been captured by a species that enjoyed torturing prisoners. They had trapped him in a metal cage that slowly closed around his arm. The cage was designed to crush slowly, causing maximum pain. Most prisoners screamed for mercy. Had grabbed a sharp piece of metal from the floor and cut off his own arm. Then he had used the same metal to kill 2 guards and escape. When he was rescued 3 days later, he was still fighting. He had walked over 50 miles through enemy territory with 1 arm, losing blood the entire way. The rescue team found him sitting on a rock, surrounded by the bodies of soldiers who had tried to stop him. He had survived. "Impossible," whispered. "This is impossible." "It is very possible," said a voice behind her. Spun around, nearly falling over. An old creature stood in the shadows between 2 shelves. He was small and gray, with skin that looked like wrinkled paper. His eyes were large and golden, filled with ancient wisdom. Ambassador of one of the oldest living beings in the galaxy. His species had been traveling between stars when most others were still learning to make fire. "You are researching humans," said. It was not a question. "Yes," admitted. "My mentor faces one tomorrow. I wanted to understand our enemy." Moved closer. Despite his age, he moved smoothly like flowing water. "And what have you learned?" "Things that do not make sense. These reports describe creatures that should not exist. No species acts this way. No species fights when there is no hope of winning. And yet humans do." "How? Why?" Sighed and sat down on a floating chair. He looked very tired, very old. "Young one," he said, "the galaxy has made a grave error. We looked at humans and saw small bodies, soft skin, short lives. We measured them by their flesh and decided they were weak. We should have measured them by their history." Sat down across from him. "What do you mean?" "Humans evolved on a death world. Their planet Earth is filled with predators, diseases, natural disasters, earthquakes that swallow cities, storms that destroy entire regions, floods, droughts, animals that can kill with a single bite. His golden eyes seem to glow in the dim light. Most species evolve on gentle worlds. We developed intelligence to build, to create, to cooperate. Humans developed intelligence to survive. But they seem so fragile. Their bodies are fragile, their minds are not. Leaned forward. Let me tell you something that your archive reports will not explain. Humans are the only species we have ever found that hunted their apex predators to extinction. Not for food, not for protection, for sport. They killed the most dangerous creatures on their world because they enjoyed it. Felt cold, her crystal skin darkened with fear. It gets worse, continued. Before humans reached the stars, they spent 10,000 years fighting each other, war after war after war. They developed weapons that could destroy entire cities in seconds. They created diseases in laboratories. They poisoned their own air and water. He shook his head slowly. Any other species would have destroyed itself. Humans thrived. How is that possible? Because they are survivors. It is written in their blood, in their bones, in every cell of their bodies. They do not fight to win. They fight because they cannot stop. Pain does not slow them. Fear does not control them. They will break their own bodies to achieve victory. And when they are broken, paused, they find a way to keep fighting anyway. Thought about the human she had seen in the arena. Small, soft, 2 arms, no claws. My mentor will kill him, she said, but her voice was uncertain now. Perhaps, said, your mentor is a great warrior, strong, fast, skilled, but she has never faced a human before. She does not understand what she is fighting. What is she fighting? Stood slowly, he looked at with something like pity. She is fighting 10,000 years of survival. She is fighting a creature that was forged in hell and called it home. She is fighting something that does not know how to surrender, because surrender means death, and humans would rather die fighting than live on their knees. He walked toward the door, then stopped. Give your mentor a message from me, he said. Tell her to kill the human quickly in the first minute or not at all, because if she wounds him, if she makes him angry, if she gives him a reason to hate her, eyes grew dark, then she will learn why Earth is feared. He left, sat alone in the archive for a long time. Then she stood and walked back to his chambers. She knocked on the door. Enter called. Stepped inside. Her mentor was polishing her plasma blades, preparing for tomorrow's fight. She looked calm and confident. My lady, said, I have been researching the humans, I think you should be careful tomorrow. Laughed, careful, against a small, soft creature with 1 blade. You worry too much, little one. Please, my lady, the reports I found are just stories. Every species has stories about great warriors. It means nothing. Put down her blade and looked at. I have fought true warriors, giants made of stone, beasts with poison claws. This human is nothing. Tomorrow I will prove it. Wanted to argue. She wanted to tell about the colony that held for 3 years, about the captain who rammed a dreadnought, about the soldier who cut off his own arm. But the words would not come. Was her mentor, her hero? She had never lost. Yes, my lady, said quietly. I am sure you are right. She bowed and left. In his small room across the station, Sung finished his exercises. He had done 500 push-ups, 500 sit-ups, and an hour of stretching. His body was warm and ready. He picked up his and looked at the picture again. His wife Min, his children Won and Hana. I will come home, he said quietly. I promise. Then he lay down and closed his eyes. In 8 hours, he would face an undefeated champion with crystal skin and 4 arms. He was not afraid. He had grown up in the mountains of Korea, in a small village where survival was not guaranteed. He had learned to hunt before he learned to read. He had fought bullies twice his size in school. He had served in 3 wars before he turned 30. Fear was something he had left behind long ago. Tomorrow, he would show the galaxy what a human could do. She confronted a human warrior and witnessed why Earth is feared. Part 3: First Blood. The arena was full. Every seat was taken. Millions of eyes watched from the stands and billions more watched through screens across the galaxy. This was the most anticipated fight of the year, not because anyone thought it would be close. They watched because they wanted to see a human die. The morning light filled the arena through massive windows. The white stone floor gleamed like fresh snow. The crowd buzzed with excitement, making sounds in 100 different languages. Food sellers moved through the aisles. Gamblers made their final bets. The odds were 1,000 to 1 against the human. Some aliens bet on him anyway, hoping for a miracle. Emerged from the east gate and the crowd exploded. She raised all 4 arms, holding her plasma blades high. Her crystal armor caught the light and threw rainbows across the arena. She looked like a goddess of war, beautiful and terrifying. From the west gate, Sung walked out. He wore the same simple gray armor as yesterday. He carried the same metal blade. He walked slowly, calmly, like he was taking a morning stroll. The crowd did not cheer. They laughed. Some threw small objects at him. He ignored them. Sat in the stands near the front. She had not slept all night. Her eyes moved from to the human and back again. Her crystal hands gripped the seat so tightly they left marks. Next to her, Ambassador watched in silence. His golden eyes showed no emotion. The arena master floated to the center of the fighting area. Its gold body reflected the light as it turned to address both fighters. "Champions," it announced, its voice echoing through the massive space. "You fight for territory. 3 human colony worlds are at stake. The winner takes them. The loser surrenders all claims. Do you understand?" "I understand," Sung said. "The fight continues until one champion surrenders or dies. There are no other rules. Do you accept?" "I accept," they both said. The arena master floated up and away. The crowd went silent. Every eye focused on the 2 fighters standing 30 feet apart on the white stone floor. Smiled. "Any last words, human?" "No," Sung said. "Then let us begin." She moved. Had seen fight many times. She knew her mentor was fast, but watching from the stands she was still amazed. Crossed the 30 feet in less than a second. Her 4 arms blurred through the air, each blade striking from a different angle. Sung blocked the first strike. He dodged the second. The third caught his shoulder. Blood sprayed across the white stone. The crowd roared with delight. First blood to the champion. The human was already wounded. But Sung did not fall. He stepped back, his face showing no pain. Blood ran down his arm, dripping from his fingers. He looked at the wound for a moment. Then he looked back at. She attacked again. Her blades were everywhere at once. Up, down, left, right. She was a storm of crystal and plasma, moving faster than most eyes could follow. Sung could not keep up. He blocked some strikes. He dodged others. But her 4th blade found his leg, cutting deep into his thigh. He stumbled. Pressed her advantage. She spun and slashed across his chest. The armor stopped most of the blow, but the tip of her blade drew a line of red across his skin. Another strike caught his arm. Another grazed his side. The human was losing badly. In the stands, Director Park watched with a calm face. The aliens around her shook their heads sadly. The fight was already over. The human would be dead in minutes. Sung fell to one knee. Blood pooled around him on the white stone. His breathing was heavy. His gray armor was stained red. Stood over him, not even breathing hard. She had not taken a single wound. This was too easy, almost boring. "You fought better than I expected," she said. "But you were never going to win. Humans are simply too weak." She raised all 4 blades for the killing blow. Sung looked up at her. He was smiling. Hesitated. Something cold touched her spine. Why was he smiling? He was beaten. He was dying. No creature smiled at their own death. "What are you smiling at?" she demanded. Sung slowly stood up. Blood still ran from his wounds, but he ignored it. His legs were steady. His eyes were clear. That empty, calm look was gone. Now his eyes burned with something dark, something old. "On Earth," he said, "we have a saying." Took a step back. She did not know why. She was not afraid of this small, bleeding creature. She was not. "What saying?" she asked. "The fight does not start until you are bleeding." He moved. Screamed. She did not mean to. The sound just came out. Because suddenly the human was not slow anymore. Suddenly the human was not weak. He moved with a speed that did not match his wounded body. His single blade cut through the air like lightning. Barely blocked in time, the impact shook her arms. How was he so strong? He was half her size. He was bleeding to death. It was impossible. Sung pressed forward. His blade moved in patterns she had never seen before. Not wide swings like the warriors of other species. Short, tight movements. Every strike aimed at joints, at weak points, at places her armor did not protect. He caught her lower left arm. The crack of breaking crystal echoed through the silent arena. Screamed, pain shot through her body like fire. Her arm hung useless at her side, the crystal bones shattered. She swung wildly with her other 3 arms. Sung ducked under the first blade. He deflected the second. The third cut his face, opening his cheek to the bone. He did not even blink. Instead, he stepped inside her guard and drove his elbow into her crystal face. The impact cracked her cheekbone. She stumbled backward, seeing stars. The crowd was no longer laughing. Grip's arm. "What is happening? He should be dead. He has lost too much blood. How is he still fighting?" His golden eyes were fixed on the arena. Adrenaline. It is a chemical in their bodies. When they are in danger, it floods their muscles and their brain. It makes them faster, stronger. It allows them to ignore pain. But no one can ignore that much pain. Humans can. They evolved that ability over millions of years. Their ancestors had to fight predators with their bare hands. They had to hunt when they were sick. They had to survive when survival should have been impossible. Paused. You are watching the result of that evolution. A creature that can push its body beyond all reasonable limits. On the arena floor, the fight continued. Fought with 3 arms now. She was still faster than him. She was still stronger, but he would not stop coming. Every time she knocked him down, he got up. Every time she cut him, he ignored it. Her plasma blades carved wounds all over his body, but he just kept moving forward. She was starting to feel something she had not felt in decades. Fear. "Why will you not die?" she screamed. Sung did not answer. He just attacked. His blade found her right knee. The crack was loud, fell. She caught herself with her good arms, but now she was on the ground. The human stood over her, blood dripping from a dozen wounds. He should have been unconscious. He should have been dead, but he was still standing. "Do you yield?" he asked. His voice was quiet, calm, like they were having a conversation over tea. "Never," swung her blades at his legs. He jumped over them and landed on her back. Before she could react, he grabbed one of her upper arms and twisted. More crystal bones broke. Screamed again, 2 arms useless now. She rolled, throwing him off. She stood on her one good leg, her crystal body covered in cracks. Her beautiful armor was ruined. Her undefeated record was about to end. No, she refused. She had never lost. She would not lose to this small, soft, dying creature. She raised her remaining 2 blades and charged. They crashed together in the center of the arena. Blades flashed. Blood flew. Crystal shattered. For 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes they fought without stopping. The crowd watched in shocked silence. Then saw her opening. The human was slowing down. Finally. His body was giving out. Too much blood lost. Too much damage taken. He missed a block and she drove her blade through his stomach. It went all the way through, coming out his back. Sung stopped moving. He looked down at the blade in his belly. Blood poured from the wound. This was it. This was a killing blow. Started to smile. Then Sung grabbed her arm. She tried to pull back, but his grip was like iron. He held the blade inside his own body, keeping her trapped. "What are you doing?" she gasped. He looked up at her. His face was pale from blood loss. His body was broken, but his eyes still burned with that dark fire. "My grandfather," he said slowly, "walked 15 miles with a bullet in his chest to save his village." He pulled her closer. "You think this will stop me?" He drove his forehead into her face. Once, twice, 3 times. Crystal cracked, blood sprayed, screamed and released her blade, stumbling backward with her hands covering her ruined face. Sung pulled the blade out of his stomach. Blood gushed from the hole. He dropped to one knee. His vision was going dark, but he was not done, not yet. He looked at she was on her knees too, 4 arms broken or useless, face cracked, body covered in damage. "Do you yield?" he asked again. The arena was completely silent. No one breathed, no one moved. Looked at the human, at this impossible creature who refused to die, at this small, soft being who had destroyed her perfect record. She was afraid. For the first time in her life, she was truly afraid. And she had no idea how the fight would end. She confronted a human warrior and witnessed why Earth is feared. Part 4: The Thing Humans Hide. The arena was silent as death. Thousands of spectators sat frozen in their seats. They had come to watch a quick execution. They had come to see a human die. Instead, they were watching something that should have been impossible. On the white stone floor, stained red with blood, 2 warriors kneeled. The great of the undefeated champion of 47 battles was broken. Her crystal skin was cracked in 100 places. 2 of her arms hung useless. Her face was a ruin of shattered crystal and blood. And the human, the small, soft human with his simple blade, he knelt in a pool of his own blood. A hole went completely through his stomach. Cuts covered every part of his body. He had lost more blood than most creatures could survive losing. But he was still alive. And he was still fighting. Could not believe what she was seeing. She sat in the stands with her hands over her mouth, her crystal body shaking. Next to her, Ambassador watched with ancient eyes that had seen 1,000 battles. Even he looked surprised. "This is not possible," whispered. "No creature can survive that much damage. No creature can keep fighting like this." "Humans can," said quietly. "But how? What are they?" Was silent for a long moment. Then he spoke slowly, choosing his words carefully. "Every species in the galaxy evolved to survive its home world. The developed crystal bodies to survive the radiation of your sun. The developed long lives to survive our slow-moving world. But humans," he paused, "humans evolved on a planet that tried to kill them every single day." Below them pushed herself to her feet. She swayed but did not fall. Her 2 remaining good arms picked up her plasma blades. Her eyes were wild with fear and rage. Sung stood up too. It took him longer. His body was failing, but his eyes still burned with that dark fire. "Look at him," continued. "His body is shutting down. His organs are failing, but his mind refuses to accept defeat. This is what humans hide, not weapons, not technology. The human body is a survival machine designed by millions of years of evolution. It can keep functioning long after it should be dead." Attacked first. She was slower now but still dangerous. Her blades cut through the air toward Sung's neck. He ducked under the strike. His own blade slashed across her stomach. Crystal cracked and fell away. She screamed and swung again. This time she hit his injured shoulder. Blood sprayed. He stumbled but did not fall. "Why will you not die?" screamed. It was the same question she had asked before, but now her voice was desperate. terrified. Sung did not answer with words. He answered with his blade. They fought across the arena floor, leaving trails of blood and crystal behind them. Neither of them should have been able to move. Both of them were beyond the limits of their bodies, but they kept fighting anyway. In the stands, the crowd had forgotten how to breathe. They watched in horrified silence. Some of the weaker species had covered their eyes. This was not a fight anymore. This was something darker, something primal. Grab's arm. Tell me more, help me understand. The old ambassador sighed. Long ago, my people studied humans. We wanted to understand how such a young species had survived so many disasters. What we found disturbed us. What did you find? Their bodies produce chemicals that should not exist together. Adrenaline that removes the limits on their muscles. Endorphins that block pain. Cortisol that keeps them alert even when exhausted. When a human is in danger, these chemicals flood their system. They become something different. Something different. A human in survival mode can lift objects that should crush them. They can run distances that should kill them. They can fight through wounds that would stop any other creature. His golden eyes were dark. We found records of humans who continued fighting after losing limbs. Humans who walked for days without food or water. Humans who survived in conditions that killed every other species around them. Below landed another blow. Her blade cut deep into Sung's side, scraping against his ribs. He coughed blood but did not stop. His own blade found her leg again, cutting through already damaged crystal. She fell. He fell too. They both lay on the ground, surrounded by blood and broken crystal. Neither of them moved for a long moment. The crowd held its breath. Then Sung started to get up. It took him a long time. His arms shook. His legs barely supported him. Blood dripped from his wounds in a steady stream. But inch by inch, he pushed himself up from the ground. Watched him with wide eyes. Her crystal face was pale with blood loss. Her body was broken beyond repair. But that was not why she was starring. She was starring because she finally understood what she was fighting. Not a small, soft creature. Not a weak species. She was fighting something that had no off switch. Something that could not be stopped unless it was completely destroyed. Something that would keep coming until its heart stopped beating. And even then, she was not sure it would stay down. "You are not natural," she whispered. "You are monsters." Sung stood over her. His gray armor was soaked red. His face was covered in blood, but his eyes were clear. "We are not monsters," he said. "We are survivors. There is a difference." "What difference?" "Monsters kill because they enjoy it. Survivors kill because they have to." He looked down at her with no hatred in his eyes, just calm determination. "I do not want to kill you. I want to go home to my family. But if you do not yield, I will keep fighting until one of us is dead." Looked at him, this impossible creature, this human who should have died a dozen times but kept getting up. She thought about her own people. They were proud warriors. They fought for glory and honor. They fought to prove they were the strongest. But this human did not care about glory or honor. He did not care about proving anything. He just wanted to survive. He wanted to protect his people. And that made him more dangerous than any warrior she had ever faced. "What are you?" she asked. Her voice was barely a whisper. Sung was silent for a moment, then he spoke. "My grandfather was a soldier in a war on Earth, a long time ago. He was shot in the chest. The bullet went through his lung. He should have died, but his village was in danger. His family was in danger. So he walked 15 miles through enemy territory with a hole in his chest. He killed 7 enemy soldiers along the way. When he reached his village, he warned them just in time. They escaped before the enemy arrived." He paused. "My grandfather survived. He lived for another 40 years. He told me that story when I was a child. He said that humans have something that other creatures do not have. We have the ability to refuse death, to look at the universe and say no, not yet. I am not done." stared at him. "You are dying," she said. "I can see it. Your body is failing." "Yes." "Then how are you still standing?" Sung smiled. It was a sad smile, a tired smile. "Because I made a promise. I told my wife and children I would come home, and I do not break my promises." He raised his blade. "Do you yield?" Looked at the blade. She looked at the human. She looked at her own broken body and knew that she could not win. Even if she somehow found the strength to fight again, he would not stop. He would keep coming until his heart stopped, and by then she would be dead. For the first time in her life, she made a choice she never thought she would make. "I yield," she said. The words tasted like poison in her mouth, but she said them anyway. "I yield." The arena was silent for one long moment. Then chaos erupted. The crowd screamed. Some cheered, some cried, some sat in shocked silence, unable to believe what they had just witnessed. On the white stone floor, stained with blood and broken crystal, Sung stood alone. Then his legs gave out. He collapsed to the ground. Human medics rushed from the west gate, carrying equipment and stretchers. They reached him in seconds and began working desperately to keep him alive. In the stands, Director Park finally smiled. It was a small smile, a tired smile, but it was there. "Impossible," said the alien ambassador next to her. His 6 eyes were wide with shock. "This is impossible." "No," Director Park said, "this is human." Stood up from her seat. She could not stop shaking. She watched the human medics carry Sung away, his body covered in blood, his life hanging by a thread. She had watched her mentor lose. She had watched an undefeated champion yield to a creature half her size. She had seen something that would haunt her for the rest of her life. Now she understood what had tried to tell her. Humans were not dangerous because of their bodies. They were dangerous because of their minds. They were dangerous because they could not be broken. They could be hurt. They could be wounded. They could be killed. But they could never, ever be defeated. Because even when they were dying, they refused to stop. Looked at, the old ambassador was still watching the arena floor, where his attendants were helping her stand. "What happens now?" asked. "Now," said, "the galaxy learns to fear Earth." He did not sound happy about it. He sounded afraid. She confronted a human warrior and witnessed why Earth is feared. Part 5: Why Earth is Feared. 3 days passed. The galaxy had not stopped talking about the fight. News channels on 1,000 worlds played the recordings over and over. Commentators analyzed every second. Scientists debated how the human had survived. Military leaders studied his fighting style. Politicians worried about what it all meant. On Station 9, life continued. Ships came and went. Traders sold their goods. Diplomats held their meetings. But everything was different now. Everyone looked at humans differently. In the station's medical bay, Sung opened his eyes. White ceiling, bright lights, the soft beeping of machines. He blinked a few times, trying to remember where he was. Then it all came back. The arena, the fight, the blood. "He is awake," said a voice. A human doctor appeared above him. She was a young woman with tired eyes and a gentle smile. "Welcome back, soldier," she said. "You died twice on the operating table. We had to restart your heart both times." Sung tried to speak. His throat was dry. She gave him water. "Did I win?" he asked. His voice was rough. "You won. The colonies are safe. They have withdrawn their claims." He closed his eyes and let out a long breath. "Good. You should rest. Your injuries were—" She paused, searching for the right word. "Severe. We had to repair your stomach, your intestines, your lungs, and several major blood vessels. You had 17 broken bones. You lost 4 liters of blood. But I am alive." "Yes, against all logic, you are alive." She shook her head. "I have been a doctor for 15 years. I have never seen anyone survive what you survived." "We are hard to kill," Sung said. "It is a human thing." In another part of the medical bay, lay in a regeneration pod. Her crystal body was slowly healing, new growth replacing the damaged areas. It would take weeks before she was whole again, maybe months. She stared at the ceiling and thought about the human. 3 days. She had spent 3 days thinking about him, about the fight, about the look in his eyes when he refused to die. She could not get it out of her head. She had been beaten before in training. All warriors lost sometimes when they were learning, but she had never lost a real fight. She had never faced an enemy who scared her. Until now. A soft knock came at her door. She turned her head slowly. "Enter," she said. The door opened. A human walked in. Sung. He was in a wheelchair pushed by the young doctor. Tubes and wires connected him to machines. His body was wrapped in bandages. He looked weak, fragile, barely alive. But his eyes were the same, calm, steady, burning with that quiet fire. "What are you doing here?" asked. "You should be in bed." "I wanted to see you," he said. "I wanted to make sure you were recovering." She stared at him. "Why? I tried to kill you." "I know, I tried to kill you too. That was the fight, but the fight is over now." Did not understand. This was not how warriors acted. When enemies fought, they remained enemies. Hatred lasted forever. That was the way of things. "You are strange," she said. "Maybe," he gestured to the doctor. She wheeled him closer to his bed. "I came to ask you something." "What?" "During the fight, you asked me why I would not die. You asked what I was." He paused. "I answered you, but I do not think you understood, so I came to explain better." Said nothing. She just watched him with her crystal eyes. "I am not special," Sung said. "I am an ordinary human, a soldier, a husband, a father. I am not the strongest human, not the fastest, not the I was chosen by random chance to fight for my people." "But you won." "Yes, because being human is not about being the strongest or the fastest. It is about something else." He looked at the picture on his Min one, Hana. "It is about having something to fight for and refusing to stop until you protect it." Was quiet for a long moment. Then she asked the question that had been burning in her mind for 3 days. "Why did you keep getting up? Every time I knocked you down, you got up. Every time I cut you, you kept fighting. Your body was destroyed. You should have surrendered. Why did you not give up?" Sung thought about the question. Then he answered. "Because giving up was never an option. Not for me. Not for any human. We do not have claws or armor or 4 arms. Our bodies are soft and easily broken. But we have one thing that makes us dangerous." "What?" "We do not quit, not when we are tired, not when we are broken, not when we are dying. We keep fighting until the very end. That is what being human means." He met her eyes. "You wanted to know why Earth is feared." Nodded slowly. "It is not our ships. It is not our weapons. It is not our technology. It is that every single one of us carries 10,000 years of survival in our blood. We did not conquer our world. We survived it. And we will survive anything else the galaxy throws at us." He paused. "Including you." The room was silent. Stared at the small human in his wheelchair, wrapped in bandages, barely able to move. He had beaten her. This fragile creature had beaten her. And now she understood why. "I have something to say to you too," she said finally. "What?" "I am sorry." Sung raised an eyebrow. "Sorry." "I called your species weak. I called you soft. I thought you were nothing but small creatures who did not belong among the stars." She paused. Her crystal face was difficult to read, but something had changed in her eyes. "I was wrong. You are not weak. You are the most dangerous species I have ever faced." "We are not dangerous," Sung said. "We just want to live in peace, to raise our families, to build our colonies. We do not want war." "But you will fight if war comes." "Yes, we will always fight, because we have no other choice. Surrender means death for our people, and we would rather die fighting than watch our families become slaves." Nodded slowly, she understood now. The fought for glory, the fought for resources. Other species fought for territory or power. Humans fought for survival. And that made them unstoppable. In the doorway stood watching. She had followed Sung from his room, curious about where he was going. Now she listened to every word, recording everything in her memory. She would return to the soon. She would make a report to her government, and she knew exactly what she would say. Later that day, Director Park held a press conference for the galactic media. Reporters from 100 worlds crowded into the briefing room, all shouting questions. How did your champion survive such injuries? What kind of training do human soldiers receive? Is Earth planning to expand its military? Director Park raised her hand for silence. The room quieted. I will answer your questions, she said calmly. But first I want to make something clear. Earth does not want war. We are a peaceful species. We want to trade, to explore, to learn. We want to be friends with every species in the galaxy. She paused. But we will defend ourselves. If anyone attacks our colonies, our ships, or our people, we will fight back. And as you saw in the arena, we do not fight like other species. We do not stop when we are wounded. We do not surrender when we are losing. We fight until the very end. A reporter raised her hand. Are you saying humans cannot be defeated? No, humans can be killed. We can die like any other creature, but we cannot be broken. We cannot be scared into submission. We cannot be conquered. Director Park looked directly into the cameras. Remember that if you ever think about attacking Earth, you might win the first battle. You might win the second, but we will keep fighting. Forever. Until there is nothing left of us or nothing left of you. The room was silent. Director Park smiled slightly. Any other questions? 1 month later, submitted her report to the High Council. She had spent weeks writing it, choosing every word carefully. The council read it in silence. The final paragraph said, Commendation, do not engage Earth in any further conflicts. Humans are not warriors in the traditional sense. They are survivors. They have evolved to fight against impossible odds and to never surrender. Their bodies can be broken, but their spirits cannot. There are 8 billion of them on there, and every single one carries the same survival instinct we witnessed in the arena. A war against Earth would not be a war of battles. It would be a war of extinction, and I am not certain we would win. The Council accepted her recommendation. The Empire quietly all claims to human territory. Other species followed. Word spread across the galaxy. A new phrase became common in diplomatic circles. Never fight a human. They do not know when to stop. On Earth, in a small town in the mountains of Korea, Sung finally came home. Min saw him first. She was working in the garden when the transport ship landed in the field behind their house. She dropped her tools and ran. He walked down the ramp slowly. His body was still healing. Scars covered his skin. He would never be the same as before. But he was alive. She reached him and wrapped her arms around him. He held her tightly. You came home, she whispered. I promised I would. One and Hana came running from the house, screaming for their father. He knelt down and hugged them both, tears running down his face. He was home. That night they ate dinner together as a family. Simple food. Rice, vegetables, some fish from the river, nothing special. But to Sung, it was the greatest meal he had ever eaten. Later, after the children were asleep, Min asked him what happened in the arena. He told her everything. The fight, the pain, the moment when he refused to die. Were you scared? She asked. He thought about it for a long time. No, he finally said. I was not scared of dying. I was scared of never seeing you again. I was scared of breaking my promise. She held his hand. You did not break it. No, I did not. Outside, the stars shone in the dark sky. Somewhere out there, across the vast emptiness of space, the galaxy was watching Earth. Watching and wondering, watching and fearing. Because now they knew the truth. Humans were not the strongest species. Not the fastest, not the, but they were the most dangerous. Because they never gave up. Because they never stopped fighting. Because they were survivors. And survivors, as the galaxy was learning, were very hard to kill.